Welcome and marry me. This is a video about how to work and draw fairies into your life. So join me in fairies, oh my. And we will learn more about how to work with fairies. Okay, in the first part of this video, we're going to go a little over of what our expectations of fairies are. Pretty much everybody just sees the fairy as the winged girl, mostly. Similar, say, like this. And this. Different kinds, light, dark, earth, chaos, fire, water, air. All of these fairies are guardians of anything in which has a life force. Even frost fairies, like this one. You may not be able to see them too well because there might be a glare on them. But when working with fairies, the first thing you gotta do is find out what you need to accomplish for them to want to come into your life. And by doing that, you have to be sure what kind of fairy you want in your life. There's certain kinds you don't, certain kinds you do. You also have to take into consideration part of that world is like gnomes, trolls, brownies, the old lady. Oh, there's, I mean, the types of fairies are endless. I mean, you could even call a leprechaun, depending on what you're looking for. Now, when drawing the energy of fairies, you basically have to earn their trust before they'll even attempt to bless your life. By doing this, you would have to take care of nature, be nice to animals, nurture your area around you, help reduce the damage that humanity has done over the 1,000 years in this world. Overall, fairies are very loving, very positive creatures, but they can also be very mischievous. Never try to force a fairy to do what you want, because trust me, the aftermath is not worth it. I've personally never done it. I have known more than one person that has, and it's never failed to end up the same way, with their life turning out to be very chaotic and I don't know, just not positive. So from here we're going to go into some ways that you can draw on fairies. If you're looking for earth fairies and water fairies and fire fairies, besides taking care of your environment and making yourself more positive as a person, you will also want to help others, especially children, innocent. You can also put out gifts for them, like shiny stones, They don't have the same value of things as we do. Something that's shiny and useful from nature is a lot more valuable to them than a diamond ring. I mean, what are they going to do with a diamond ring? So please don't offer them that. They'll probably look at you funny. As you go into the fairy realm, which is very mystifying, but can also be passed into from our realm. Usually not in a physical state, but if you open your third eye, open your mind, and bring balance to yourself, a very good chance within the astral plane you'll be invited in to see what they're all about. In my video for which degree 2, Magic and Beyond, there is a very useful meditation in there that has to do with fairies. I may be making that meditation available just by itself, but presently it's not in the works. Another thing is having the proper music around. If you're playing heavy, hard acid rock, more than likely the only fairy you're going to draw is a chaos fairy. Now, they're not negative in nature. You like to prank you, and they don't have the same values as your standard elemental or mystical or even spiritual fairies. Now, fairies in general, if you think about them and say that as we are pagan, are more like the nature's angel. They're there to take care of everything in nature. They're always around you, even if you can't see them. If you were to take an EMF reader, especially after doing a lot of positive things and just being a really, really especially good person, and you were to put it around your aura, it would shoot extremely high. And that's not necessarily from you, but from the fairies surrounding you, because they pick up just like the spirit does. Now, another thing is show them that you understand they value what exists here. No, they don't value a car. No, they don't value power plants. Because in their eyes, in the beginning, we were given everything we need to survive. Our minds weren't given to us to progress into a world of chaos and laziness, but into a world of purity and purpose. I mean, we all find our own purpose in our daily lives, in our jobs, in our families, taking care of our children, listening to that first baby laugh. But all that's just fine to us. And you've probably heard from old fairy stories about the twig, or twigling, which is where a fairy has taken a sickly fairy and placed it in place of a child, and taken the child to increase the quality of their bloodline. The reason is out of everything in existence that still exists on this world, humans are about the only thing so close to being compatible with them that we can improve their ways of life. But why shouldn't we do that here too? Invite them back into this world. Let them come in where they originated in the first place. Mystical world has always been there, but it hasn't always been completely separated, or as separate, I can't say completely separate, but as separated as it is now. Too many people have lost contact with what's going on. Now, if you look into the world, you'll see that a lot of this world, that fantasy world as they call it, or what we call it mystic worlds, is coming back to play. Look at your movies, especially children's shows. And one of my favorite shows was Fairy, A True Story. They did a great job on that. Uh, Listen, well, another way of working with fairies, going beyond how to draw them to you, is trust the instinct you're getting. I mean, not only is it probably right, because it's your first instinct, but sometimes it might be a fairy influencing the thought and feeling behind what's going on right then. They don't always make themselves visible. And to actually see a fairy, you've got to really be in tune, really in depth with what's going on. That they have to truly accept everything about what you're doing. So from here, I'm going to give you, we're going to stop for a second, and I'm going to give you a few ideas of what you can do to draw and work with fairies. So I'll be back in just a moment, and we'll see you then. Okay, I'm back. I just had to go grab a few things to show you different things you can use to draw fairies into your life. Now, I said I'd also tell you how to work with them, or give you ideas of how to work with them. You don't necessarily need a physical object for that, but offering gifts, just like within your Lady and Lord, is a very good idea with any good entity. I don't care what kind of magic you're working. You don't want to come back on you, make it worth their while. First would be stones. Now, the stones I've brought out here aren't necessarily actual fairy stones. They're actually very much in the rough state right now. Still in process, having a few technical issues. But say, take this amethyst, pretty raw, but they will find more love from this, you giving them this, than anything else. This is the ultimate power stone. And it's because it's related to the quartz family. It has the ability to balance all energy, good, bad, negative, positive, and anything else in between. Another one would be, say, the quartz crystals here. They're a stone of healing. So if you want a water fairy or nature fairy to come and help you, and you really need the healing energies, it's good to offer them something in resemblance of what you need. Now, I'm not completely sure you can see everything I'm showing you, but as we move along, one of my recommendations, especially when working with any kind of pagan faith, is research. Learn everything you can. That's how Wicca 13 Productions came made, is we want to share with the whole world to bring everybody together. Not make one path. There's no such thing as one path for everybody, but allow people access to all paths to know what works for them. This stone, not polished enough to really tell what it is, but when I hold it, I feel a lot of positive energy from it. So if you find a stone like this, it'd probably be really good to set out for them. Now, they're not going to necessarily take this. They're not going to necessarily take your rocks and your crystals. But they may enjoy and bask in their energy that they put out. So, a good thing to do with the crystals and stones is every Saturday at 11 o'clock a.m. or p.m. set them, or at least if it's a full moon, and it's usually once a month. But put them in some kind of moon, like once a week on a Saturday is a good idea. But if it on a full moon, do a full charge of those stones within the full moon, and I'll let it absorb all the energy it can. So when they come back to visit you, they're fully charged, and they feel the love from you taking care of what they love and they'll take care of you and love you. Another thing really good is herbs. This is some dragon's blood. It comes from the Draco tree. It's a sap. It has a lot of energy in it. And it's not really positive or negative. It's just plain raw energy. People will disagree, of course. That's what this world's made of, disagreements. But you look around and you'll find out more people agree on the same thing than not. And the energy from most of your herbs relate to, say, their smell. Now, dragon's blood, unless you burn it, doesn't have much of a smell. But when you do burn it, it's a really sweet smell. So, if you want to draw in, I would say good earth fairies or fire fairies. Burn homemade incense of dragon's blood, and you'll draw them into your life. Now, you don't have to burn a ton of it, just enough to raise the aroma around you, and it will help draw them into you. Another good one is allspice, the sweet but sharp spice herb. Really good for fire fairies, obviously, because of the sharpness to it. But it's also really good in drawing spirit fairies, because it's got the sweetness, but a dominant fragrance coming out for it, showing that you mean what you say. Don't burn this if you don't mean what you say. You get your butt kicked. Another one, valerian root, is good for all kinds of things, but mainly for relaxation. So if you need and having problems sleeping, any fairies come help ease you to go to sleep. But I would actually steep some of this in a tea. You'll probably need a larger amount than this to get a decent cup of tea, but put it in a tea. Once it's steeped all the way, sweeten it with honey. Put a little bit, if you have a doll's cup, that'd be perfect. But put a little bit in a cup and sit there and drink it, and let the fairies sit there with you. You will see them or not, and enjoy the energy from that tea, and they will help you relax and sleep. I do speak with all this from experience, so if you think I'm crazy, that's fine, everybody does. But when you're working with fairies, they will give you images of what you're working with and what they want. And if you're really wanting to work with them, not only do you want to work as hard as you can to keep the same aspect they want, but you also want to make it at the same time an aspect corresponding to the people around you. And that doesn't mean, oh, okay, now I've got to draw a half-and-half picture. That's not really corresponding with the same aspect. That's just putting two aspects side by side. You've got to make the same two aspects one. Now, soon I'll be releasing a book explaining a lot of this more. It'll probably be in a couple months. Sorry about that interruption. We'll probably cut out in the final script. But look to what's going on around you. You're going to notice things are slowly dying. While at the same time, other things are changing. Becoming a little bit more difficult and a lot harder to understand. Difficult and harder, two different words. And they follow along two different paths. Now, I would say the people that have the best luck working with fairies, right offhand, are your shamans and your druids. Because, at least with earth and water fairies, because they're really in tune with the ground environment. Wiccans, straight out witches that don't follow the direct path. Probably a few other pagan ways. Now you struggle a little bit, so it's going to take you somewhere. Don't get discouraged. don't care what's wrong with you. I mean, I've probably got more things wrong with you than you ever imagined wrong with me. I still get up every morning and work with my faith. Whether you're Christian or pagan, the only way to get what you want from your faith is by giving it what it wants. Now, fairies, there is a base of Wicca that's fairy guided, but it is actually different than working with the fairy energies. They draw into you specific energies. Fairy Wicca is more of like your advanced hedge witch. I'll probably get mad at me for saying that, but it's true. They work really deep into the ground. The stones, the crops, and all that good stuff. Everything is what that grows is what they drop on. Now, one thing I would say, especially when you're starting out working with fairies, is work a lot with meditation. Because meditation helps you not only balance your mind as far as your mind goes, also the energy in it, the energy in your body, your chakras, your aura, and brings it all to a point of yin and yang. Now, you may not understand it completely at first, and you may think it's hilarious that you're working this way, but hey, it's fun, right? Well, in the end, it's going to be more than fun. It's going to be worth it. So give it your time, put forth all of your effort, and draw whatever kind of paganism it is, whatever form of energy it is, into you. I teach a very advanced path for my coven of Camelot Willow, and everybody's on a different level, and they draw upon what feels right to them. Not one person is ever exactly the same. Kind of like a fingerprint. And if everything in the world was the same, there'd be no point of having faith. There'd be nothing to have faith in. Find yourself is the first goal. Work towards what you want is the second goal. And the third goal is draw it all into one great big ball of energy. Just give it a great big hug and draw the fairies into you. So, with this all being said, this is probably one of my shortest videos, but there will be a little bit of extras at the end just to give you some ideas worked into the video. But as far as me going, I have to say blessed be, and I hope to see you in the next video, and I hope everyone is blessed. My name is Reverend Mark Welch, and thank you for joining me in Faith, Fairy, and Fairies Oh My.